45% from the top, so it's not going to be something that I want to be like, okay, I'm going to buy it because it's going to go up again. Maybe it will, but the chances that it goes up again are lower than the chances that it never goes that high. Or if it goes like the next cycle or in a few months when the narrative resurfaces, not
Yeah.
right now. And you should be rather investing into other projects from one of the new narratives, which I don't know what the next narrative is going to be because that's not my area of expertise. That's why we have the fundamental analysts like Youngs, who's here in the chat. So yeah, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
investing into this. Like we also have, I'm looking at all the coins that were really hot last week. Avanti also not doing really hot. It's back this previous accumulation. Hemi is absolutely dead. I mean, not absolutely
Oh, it
dead.
was pumping like crazy.
Yeah, it's down minus 60%.
60%. Oh my, what the fuck? Should have
What?
just short.
Yeah. I mean, shorting this is good in hindsight, but it's so fucking dangerous. Look at Bless. It's absolutely
Bless.
insane how this SFP was the top and now we're down 76%. So please, if you ever see a coin and you missed it and it starts dumping like 30, 40, 50%, do not be like, okay, let's buy because it will go up again. If the narrative is not
Yeah.
there anymore. Like, yes, if we look at Aster, last week, it did dump what 37% from the top, and then it made another run. Why? Because the narrative was still hot, but now it's not hot anymore. Everyone knows about Aster. Everyone knows about Stable and XPL and everything. So yeah, I wouldn't be
The hype is
looking
over,
to.
guys. The hype is over.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking about hype, hype is not
Hype is
doing.
also over.
Yeah, I mean, comparative to the other stuff that were
Oh
promising
yeah.
to replace hype, it's doing well. I mean, it did very
Mm-hmm.
bad because everyone that tried to play the DEX narrative um, rotated the profits or the money from hype into the other projects. But now, when they are dumping, hype started doing better again. Um, Oh, Jungs, let's see what you posted. Esther is far beyond compared to other decks. Look at this. Esther already generated 28 million in fees, but it has a really ugly and clunky platform, but it's just the bots that farm points. So, yeah, I also had someone tell me that the actual platform is pretty bad. So, yeah, I
I
mean,
didn't try it, to be honest.
yeah, me neither. The only decks that I use is Apex, who also was one of the coins that was really strong last week. As you can see, it pumped 10x, but it's down
Damn.
52% from the top. So yeah, it's just another sign of either you're early on the narrative and you catch the big pump, or you are late and you shouldn't even try. That's just my
Yeah.
2 cents on the situation. I would really have loved to have Purdue or Jedi with us to talk about us more in depth about this. But yeah, I'm gonna be making sure to ask them about this last week. But I think they have the same opinion as me. If you miss the initial train, and don't try to jump in front of it when it's coming back.
Yeah, just if you have this format, just write in the chat, write in a group, and maybe we will try to help you, because I know that every day you wake up and see someone is sketching these palms and you get like what am I doing wrong, all these feelings. Uh, yeah, write in the chat, and we're here. We will support, and just keep in mind that market is always here. It's been 100 years in this world, and it will be like market will not go anywhere. And especially crypto market works 24/7. You literally can trade it whenever you want. So please calm down yourself. Uh-huh.
Before I was trading, I wouldn't say addicted, but I was sports betting a lot, right?
Mhm.
And to combat this, I also had this idea, oh, what if I, instead of betting $10, $20 on a bet, which was a lot back then because I didn't have a lot of money. What if I'm only betting $1 so that I still, let's say, feed my brain with the dopamine of betting, but I don't risk too much? And the reason why it's not a good idea is because you are not fighting the problem. Your goal should be to never sports bet again or to never FOMO in a trade again. If you FOMO in but with a small position, yes, you will not be affected so much by the mistake of FOMOing, but you never address the mistake of FOMOing in the first place. And your goal should be to never FOMO in trades. And if you keep FOMOing in, even with a small position, you are not fighting that. And from my sports betting experience, you're doing it a few times with a smaller size, and then it works once, and then you're still mad about that because, oh, I should have went in bigger. So the next time you go in bigger and you're back at square one. You're not solving the problem. What's your counter argument, Vazi?
Well, yeah, in this case, yeah, I would not do something like this. But for me, for example, let's I'm waking up and I see some coin like pump like crazy. And probably for me, it's easier because first of all, I understand technical analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And if I miss the pump, I can be and to catch another move. Like I don't risk much, but I risk less than usually, and at least I can catch it. If I stopped, that's it, This is not like it means that okay, the hype is over on this coin. Maybe I will try to reshort, but I will wait for the confirmation. So somehow, yeah, I have this FOMO, but not like what you explained. Like, oh, I should have put more money. I don't have this kind of feelings at all. Like
Yeah, because you do have
I try to
experience in the
understand,
market.
like I try to plan, like I still try to have a FOMO, like Victoria said, like, oh my God, I should have put more, then better don't do it. Like don't try even with small size, because in this case it means that you cannot control your emotions at all.
Yeah,
So better to not gamble, to not bet on this kind of things, because this can be really addictive. But if you
yeah,
still can analyze and control yourself at least somehow, but you still have this feelings like, oh my God, maybe I can still catch this move, then in my case, I just try the small position and I put I'm willing to lose, I always calculate as a loss. That's why I always
yeah,
tell
of
you, like,
course.
always you should understand how much you're willing to risk. This is the first rule for you. So yeah, but otherwise, I agree with your example. Like,
It's like saying, how do I stop being addicted to cocaine? And their answer is, I
yeah, yeah.
only snort one line instead of
No,
five per
no,
day.
no, no,
Brother, you're still
no,
addicted.
no. In this case, no,
Yeah,
definitely no.
and never
I
did cocaine. You should never do cocaine. Bitbay, you said you want to talk about psychology, and yeah, FOMO is one big part of psychology, and I would argue it's the most important one when it comes to crypto because most people come into crypto with the expectation of longing shit that does a 10x and then they miss it and then they want to long it again. So yeah, FOMO is a big part um, of psychology in trading. And to continue speaking about psychology, a guy asked today on my stream on Twitch how they it's also tied to FOMO, but in a different sense. Like, how can you be patient enough to wait for the good setups and not FOMO into every trade that you see? And yeah, that was a great question. And in case you were not on my stream, I'm gonna explain it again because this is a different type of FOMO. It's not like, oh, I need to get into this project because it's the next big thing. It's like, oh, but what if this trade is a winner? Let me just try it. No, you should always have a plan. And the two biggest let's say, tricks that I used to stop myself from impulsive trading was to first only trade at specific times of the day. So, for example, now I only trade the New York Open. You guys already know that, which means that my brain is wired in such a way that I don't even look for trades after the first 90 minutes of the New York session. It doesn't matter what price does. I simply do not look for trades. And if I were not an analyst, I would not even open the charts. So if you have a problem with entering impulsive trades, then choose to only trade at a certain time of the day, whether it's the New York Open or the Daily Open or the London Open or whatever, and do not even open charts for the rest of the day. Only be focused on that time. And the second trick is to always have a checklist of things that you want to see on the chart before you enter a trade. For me, for example, it's a sweep of a liquidity pool, and then reversal, like have some reversal confirmations. And that checklist should be like a Notion or a Google Sheet, and you need to always have it open as a tab in your Google Chrome or Brave or whatever, next to the tab with your trading terminal. So I used to have Google Sheets tab next to my Binance tab. So when I wanted to click on the Binance tab to open a trade, I would see the Google Sheets tab and be like, oh yeah, this is my checklist. Let me read my checklist. And it had this, let's say, effect of stopping the unconscious process of entering a trade by doing something conscious, which was checking my checklist, seeing if everything was there. And another trick, and I actually learned this from my aunt, who is a psychiatrist, and the way to cure addiction, and in this case, the addiction of entering trades impulsively, is to do something conscious before entering a trade. So a trick is like for people that are addicted to drinking or to nicotine and smoking cigarettes. Like a trick is before, like when you feel the urge to smoke a cigarette, you should do 5 push-ups first. Why? Because doing 5 push-ups is a conscious action, so it will stop you from doing the unconscious action that has you addicted in the first place. So this is in trading, this is the conscious action, checking the checklist. And yeah, this is how I was able to stop my impulsive trading, because there was a time, like in my first year as a trader, where I used to enter 60, 70, 80 trades per week, and that was simply too much. I then wanted to focus on better trades, and that's what I did to stop that. Yeah, that's a good checklist,
Yeah, I
Pipe.
think everyone should go through this, you know. I think everyone should go through this phase in their trading journey when they're sitting, you know, non-stop next to the chart. Only after that, most people will just understand that this is just a waste of time, you know. Because I've been through this, like what you were talking, and I've been through many things, what people in the chat write. I also had this addiction, but not addiction like, oh, I cannot live without trading, but it was so interesting for me, you know, to learn new things. Like my brain was like, oh my God, so many things are happening. And I want to try this, I want to try that. And of course, it made me to spend a lot of unnecessary time. Or maybe it was for good. Like I tried to be always positive, you know, and maybe it was just a good experience. That's why like it helped me to understand and read the chart pretty well right now. But yeah, from my experience, I would just say either you have just to go through this phase, or just be super strict for yourself and learn how to control yourself. It means teach yourself to make new habits. And of course, it will not come in one day, in 2 days. Maybe you will need weeks, maybe you will need months, and it's completely fine, you know. And as I always say, like, why do you join like communities? You join communities to like find a help, find some support. So if you join the community, if you have any questions or need any help, just ask. Don't just stay sideways and just quietly read the chats without doing anything. With this, you will not have fast progress in your journey. And for me right now, I made a certain routine. First of all, it's really good that I'm in Chroma because I have some schedule and I'm more disciplined if I would be just on my own. Why I'm telling you this? Because I have my schedule. I know that 2 times per week I'm streaming at the certain time. So I should be prepared. I have people here in front of who I'm very responsible. So I feel more responsibility. And sharing your ideas, sharing your traits, it also helps you to improve better because you're not just doing it on your own, but you have people around, you have great analysts in this community who can check and give you some advices, so you will not do certain mistakes that we did in the past. And then I made a rule like to not do anything until 10 a.m. my time. So for me, it's first breakfast. I mean, not to do regarding the charts. For me, it's breakfast. I should do some sport. I should play with my cat. We have certain time of playing every day. So I have my routine. And then I have my corners that I will not do New York sessions anymore because of this time difference. But right now I'm without kids. Kids are with their dad. So I'm also here during this roundtable stress. I told myself that this is harmful for myself. So please just sit down and write down what is your priority in your life and try to focus on these things. Trading will never go anywhere. You don't have to trade all day. You don't have to take 100 positions. All you need to do, if you will have every day at least one good trade without any losses, this is already a win for you. So try to look at this situation with a different angle. And if you have any like problems or you struggle with some emotions, you join the community and you join it for a reason. You paid for this place. So please be active. Like you can write in the chat or book this one-on-one sessions, and we're here to support because we also been through all this stuff. That's it.
Yeah. By the way, tomorrow, 12 p.m. UTC is
Sorry.
the sign-ups for the one-on-ones for the month of October open up. So um, there will be enough for everyone, but if you want a specific analyst, talent, or contributor for the one-on-one, then you should set an alarm because the slots usually fill up pretty fast. So yeah, make sure that you're there when the sign-ups open so that you book your preferred mentor. And also touching on something that you said, Vazi, it's about only needing a few good trades every week. And I have a quote that's my favorite quote related to trading. It goes like this: it's not about becoming rich fast, it's about making sure that we become rich. So who cares that you don't make any money in the first 6 months of your trading journey, when you should be actually building your foundations so that you make sure that you end up making money in the long run? Because come on, we are not 70 years old. It's not like we are leaving this world in the next 2 months so that we need to make millions of dollars in the next 2 months. No, we still have lots of years ahead of us, hopefully, in case we don't get World War III and get nuked to death. So just take it slow. Make sure that you're learning the right habits, building the right foundations, and then you will for sure succeed in the long run. And this is why I, as a 25-year-old, am not pressed about having printing tens of thousands of dollars every trade. I'm taking it slow because my goal is to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30, and I still have 5 years left. So that's why I'm taking it slow. I don't need to rush it, and you shouldn't do that either.
Yeah. People are so terrible in the chat, writing many
Yeah,
things. Like, good
I know.
advice is not reading while talking. You're terrible, guys.
I'm I'm gonna turn into the Fed. I'm gonna turn into the police, and I'm gonna enforce some very strict rules in the chat while streaming, because I do not like. See, the it's like you're a teacher and the chat is your class. Is if the class is only speaking bullshit, it means you're doing a bad job as a teacher. So I'm gonna do what the teachers in communist Romania used to do,
Oh my God.
and spank you and pull your hair so that you are quiet and listen and learn from us. Nah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, but just keep
You're
it
gonna spank.
civil. Keep it civil,
It's okay.
and we're gonna be really happy about that. Um, is any of you lads struggling with anything psychologically, or a subject about psychology that you want us to discuss, or any trading questions or anything before we wrap up our roundtable of this week?
Sorry, what was the question? I'm reading the chat. It's so
Yeah, no, the
crazy. The
question
people are so
was,
polite.
yeah, the question was if anyone has any questions related to psychology or any trading
Yeah.
questions in general that we can answer before we wrap it up.
It's not me. Victorious, I think it's you. Sorry. Is it your washing machine over there?
What's my best tip
There's a
for
question.
stopping tilt? That's a great question, Synergy. To stop being tilted. First, you have to identify what makes you tilted. Um, wait, I have to step in. Um, all right. So how to stop being tilted? Well, first you have to identify what's tilting you, and I found that what tilts me the most is losing and round tripping. So if what makes me angry is losing and round tripping, well, then the solution was to create a trading system where I win more often than I lose, and I don't round trip. So this means that my trading system is a 1R trading system where I TP really fast so I don't round trip, and it's a low risk to reward ratio setup because it's that in itself brings a higher win rate. Other people might have other stuff that that tilts them. For example, I know that Jonesy, for example, doesn't have any problems with round tripping, so that's why he's up like 5R and moves towards break even. And he was like, yeah, okay, I was top break even. I'm not happy about it, but I'm not tilted either. But yeah, that's step one, identifying what generates the tilt for you. Also, another thing that generated tilt for me was loss streaks, and inherently with a higher win rate you will have less loss streaks. And then second of all, once you identify that you are tilted, you should stop trading altogether, because then it leads to revenge trading and everything. And to do this, we come back to what I said previously: do conscious actions. And what I do is I have a notepad next to me and a pen, and during each trade and after it's done, I write down my emotions. And if one of those emotions is anger or tilt, then I would just close the charts and not trade for the rest of the day. I will, I don't know, go to the gym, play some video games, do whatever that doesn't involve trading. Now, I don't need to do that anymore because over the years I've learned to not enter revenge setups anyway, but that's what I did in the beginning. I would write down my emotions, and if one of the emotions was leading me to making mistakes, I would just close the charts and do anything else. Like Vazi said, there is always the next trade, there is always the next opportunity. You don't have to jump in immediately after losing to make it all back. So yeah, like Scapo says, revenge trading is crazy. You're going down a rabbit hole until the account is dead, and hours later you're there thinking, "What the fuck did I do?" I That also happened to me, and I almost nuked my entire account, and I almost left trading when Luna was crashing, and I kept longing it because I thought, how the hell can a top 10 coin crash to zero? and it did crash to zero. And if I didn't stop myself, I would probably not be here in front of you today, because I was down to my last 20-30% of my portfolio that night. So yeah, it's a really bad thing to do, and you should learn how to stop it. But also, yeah, build a system around avoiding your weaknesses and what tilts you, and building upon your strengths, whatever those might be. And this is the stuff that we teach during the one-on-ones. We try to identify your strengths, help you combat your weaknesses, and make you a trader. Always say this: it's easier to model your trading around your psychology than to change your psychology for a specific trading system. Uh, yeah, you're right, Dave.
There's
If you
one.
feel like entering a trade, just do something else.
There was one message. I have a bad habit of re-entering a lot of times when having buys. A lot of times I'm correct, but I already burned most of my profits by re-entering so many times. This is also a common mistake most traders do. What helped me to overcome such situation is to be more patient. Even if I'm right, I made some rules for myself, like wait for the confirmation before entering short, wait for the confirmation before entering long. Unfortunately, you need to be strict to yourself and remind it to yourself every single day that, okay, even if I'm like today, you were longing this hour, even though like my trade was short. Yes, technically it was good to long, but uh, please identify in which trend we are. Since the trend was pretty bearish, then it's monthly close. Like also identify what are conditions today in the market. Like is it a weekly close? Is it a daily close? Or is it, I don't know, Monday? Like all these important days, maybe there are news. So when you know that there are certain things, you should be cautious. Don't jump 100 times. Then wait for the confirmations. Like, okay, what will be for me the confirmation to long here? I go to lower time frame and look for certain things. Like if on 15-minute there's also some support, if there's an FVG or EMA, if there's a bullish divergence and blah blah blah, like different reasons can be. Next thing, I try to identify right away where is the strong resistance from where the coin can switch the trend. Okay, so this helps me to kind of control the situation because let's say I'm longing here, yeah, with some stop loss is just an example, then I should know like your target was 280, but before reaching this 280 there will be a lot of low time frame resistance zone. And what I would do in your case, if I would have long here and I would have stopped back, I would have just wait for the confirmation, and confirmation would be for me again bounce from this low, from the support, giving some low time frame bullish signs, then I would have re-entered for the second time. But if I see that again the coin is losing the support, then either I just don't do anything, or since I can control myself emotion, like I can turn off all my emotions and make like cold analysis. It means I go to different time frames and try to identify, okay, if long setup didn't work out, so is there a possibility for the shorts, or in which phase right now the coin is it ranging, or is it losing the support so I can short. So you should have certain questions for yourself before like doing certain steps, and don't be like stubborn, especially if you're entering like already 3-4 times. Don't do it like this. Make a rule for yourself, like, okay, if I stopped like 2 times on the same position, that's it, I'm not trading it. You should be a bit strict to yourself. Like this is how uh, I'm controlling uh, my situation when I trade. I don't know, Victorious, what do you do? how do you help yourself? Like, did you ever have this kind of situation when you were too stubborn with your bias and you were re-entering and re-entering the same position and it was just going completely different direction?
Yeah.
What?
So uh, this happens in two ways. Either you are in a high time frame position and it starts going against you, and then you're like, no, my bias is surely right. Now, if I enter, it will just be a DCA to my position. I will get a better entry. And while, yes, it will be a DCA, you're just increasing your size and increasing your risk. So that's why I have a rule that once I enter a position, I enter it with a calculated risk, and there is no reason for me to add later to the position because that would just mean increasing my size and increasing my risk. And hey, I've been short on Bitcoin ever since the monthly bottom, and I could have technically DCA'd and gotten a better entry if I shorted any time during the last few weeks, but I didn't because I initially entered a position with a certain size and a certain risk, and I don't want to add to that. So that's one thing, never add to losing positions. And the other side of fighting this stubbornness is when you get stopped out and then you re-enter and then you get stopped out again and then you re-enter. That's the shit that leads to nuking your entire account most of the time. Because you keep longing. Hey, everyone went through this. I had a period of time at the beginning of the cycle when I was shorting every move up because I was like, yeah, if we're still in the bear market, I will short every single move. And it led to me losing, I think, like 6, 7, 8 trades in a row. And that was when I said, okay, and it was in the span of like 1 or 2 days. So what I do now is if I see a point of interest and let's say we're going down towards it and I long that point of interest and then I get stopped, I no longer look at that point of interest. I'm not going to short the same H4 fair value gap twice. I short it once. If I win it, okay. If we go back up, in my mind, it's like, okay, we didn't react well enough from the H4 fair value gap. There is no reason for me to short again. So yeah, I only enter one setup from one POI. If that doesn't work out, then I stop trying that POI. Also, I never open counter trend trades when the move is really strong. Like for example,
Yeah.
yesterday when we pumped like crazy, I didn't even think about entering shorts, maybe as a scalp on your open, but that's something else. Why? Because it's like jumping in front of a moving train, and you will get stopped out most times, many times, until you finally find that top that you wanted. But by that time, you might not even have enough capital too short again, or you might be too tilted and you might not want to take another trade, or you're just like, okay, my bias is wrong, I've already lost 5 trades, I'm not gonna short anymore, and you miss the actual short from the top. So yeah, don't try to catch the bottom when the market is in a heavy dump. Do not try to catch the top if the market is in a heavy pump, because that will lead to this
Yeah.
problem of continuously just re-entering trades over and over again.
Yes, I
Right.
agree.
All right. That leads us to 1 hour of this beautiful roundtable. Thank you, Vazi, for being here. Like we said, it will be a smaller roundtable because most of our guys are in Singapore, holding that
Yeah.
Chroma banner high in front of all those sophisticated people. So really enjoyed the talk. Again, thank you, Vazi, so much for all your insights onto the market and into psychology. And I hope that this session was a really nice one for everyone. Hopefully, you learned something new
Yes,
today.
I hope so.
Of course, we're gonna be talking a lot. If it's just two people for 1 hour, we're gonna be talking about technically half an hour each. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, and see you later in the server. And we're back to the full squad next week. Bye bye.
So much. Bye bye.